Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome Pakistan International School Thai Virtual Learning System. Hope you all are well and learning a lot from this system. This lecture is for grade first year boys and girls, Pakistan culture, chapter 4. Today we will do the exercise, the short question and long question of chapter 4, and then we will start chapter 5. Chapter 4 Pakistan culture we have done in detail each and every topic. We discussed ideological moorings, Islam, the Holy Quran, and the Prophet. Oneness of Allah, Tawheed, Prophethood, Risalat, knowledge, ilm, deeds, amal, the hereafter, akhirat. Then the second topic, social pattern, tribal, feudal, rural, and urban. The last topic which we discussed in the previous lecture, that is education. Now the short question answers of chapter 4. I have told you that in your book no exercise. You have to learn all the chapter and the MCQs, short question and long question from these topics. Some important short questions today we will discuss. First, explain briefly the hereafter. We discuss in detail. So this is given in your book. The concept of hereafter, akhirat. Here you will write. You will explain this briefly. Next, explain Tawheed. Tawheed, oneness of Allah. You will explain in this answer Tawheed, oneness of Allah, that is given in your book, the topic of ideological moorings. Question can be also explain prophethood, explain knowledge, ilm, deeds. All these topics can be asked in long question overall and a short question like Tawheed, prophethood, knowledge, ilm. Question number 3, give a short description of social pattern of Balochistan. Also, we discuss social pattern, tribal, feudal, rural, and urban. And in this question, the description of the social pattern of Balochistan. Here in your book, in this topic, social pattern, province-wise given the all the social pattern and Balochistan, the question can be like this: give a short description of social pattern of North Frontier, give a short description of social pattern of Punjab, and it can be the question about the Sindh. So here it is the question about the Balochistan. You will write answer from the social pattern, second paragraph. It is given about Balochistan, the most common sight that one comes across in the countryside, in that of the shepherds grazing their sheep, goats, camels, animals, and small tents towards Sibi, Kachi, and the plains along the Indus down the coastline of Makran. It is customary to see fishermen with their fishing nets early in the morning, while the women folk attired in the long sleeved flowing dresses with colorful needlework called pashk go about giving a helping hand. Same question can be about Punjab, North Frontier, and Sindh. Then you will write about that province. What is the role of University Grant Commission that is given in the topic of education? UGC, University Grant Commission. The UGC is a centralized body established in 1973 to ensure coordinated development of universities, to initiate, promote, and standardized academic and research program at the universities for greater national development and to ensure an easy flow of funds. For this purpose, write a short note on Allama Iqbal Open University. Same topic, education, and Allama Iqbal Open University. You will write complete about Allama Iqbal Open University. Complete topic you will write about this. Same question, like a question can be write a short note on the Islamic University, write a short note on the Qaid Azam University, Question can be like this, then you will write about Quaid-e-Azam University, or the question is about the Islamic University, then you will write all the information about the Islamic University. Also the Pakistan Study Center, write a short note on Pakistan Study Center or the Area Study Center. Hope you understand this. Now the question, enlist the services of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan in the field of education. Also in the previous chapter we have discussed the services of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan in the field of education. You can write from there, or also from here we discuss the services of the Sir Syed Ahmad Khan in the topic of education, that is second paragraph. About later half of the 19th century, efforts were made to create synthesis of the two systems. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan worked out an educational plan based on the study of modern arts and science along with religious learning. Complete paragraph about this. And also in the previous chapter we discussed a complete topic of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Also you can write the services of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan from that topic relating to education. Now, chapter 5, emerging trends, new orientation, Islamization, education, literature, socio-economic trends. These are the topics which we will discuss today from chapter 5, emerging trends. New orientation. First of all, we will start this topic from where when the British came in India, and also we have discussed all these history how the British came in India. First of all they came India for trade purpose, and slowly and gradually they took control in the subcontinent, and they took power and authority from the Muslims after the War of Independence in 1857. We have discussed all these things in detail. British took power in the 18th century. The emerging trends in Pakistan can best be understood through took into the past when the British in the 18th century took over power from a Muslim. You know that the Muslims ruled in the subcontinent nearly 1,000 years. So this was a not that kind of situation that the Muslim accepted it easily. The whole region was a feudal medieval society with a self-sufficient economic system in agriculture as well manufactured goods produced by a vast network of cottage industries, small scale industries. The Muslims were either landholder or craftsmen running small cottage industries or employed in state services. On the other hand, the Hindus were land farmers or merchants and bankers lending money to owner of workshop and acting as middlemen. This was the time period of 18th century when the British took control from the Muslims. And industrialization period, when the British took control in India, the British the possessed a superior technology and scientific know-how now with loot and plunder acquired from their new dominion state. They soon achieved a high degree of industrialization through an organized capitalist system. British they introduced their new system and they developed industry, and they developed the industries in the subcontinent, and their product found a ready market in the subcontinent. British plan. What was the British plan? You know that the British took power or the authority from the Muslims, and they destroyed. Also, we have discussed in the previous topic how the British destroyed the Muslim social culture institutions. And the British, however, were culturally, you know, that different. Their language was different, their culture different from the Muslims and from the people of the subcontinent. First. Second, having wrested power from the Muslims, were always apprehensive of a Muslim revival. After all their attempts, therefore, aimed at implanting their own culture without significantly altering the local culture. Also, they had to plan out their policies in a way that the Muslims, who constituted the second largest majority after the Hindus, were paralyzed and left with no means to change their authority. This was the British plan, which they introduced in the subcontinent. The second attack, first of all, which we discussed in this paragraph, they wanted the Muslims are totally paralyzed and left with no mean to challenge their power or their authority because they were scared they took power from the Muslims. The second attack on the on the Muslims economy, they struck their first blow upon the Muslims by destroying their small or cottage industries. This served their interest in two ways. The Muslims were economically ruined, totally destroyed, while they monopolized control. They took control on trade, the subcontinent as a vast market for the machine made goods from England. The second attack on the Muslims, the second devastating blow came when English was made the official language. In the previous chapter, we discussed that the Muslims they were not aware the English language or the Western system of education. When the British introduced this system, the Muslims they were not accepting this system. This rendered the educated Muslims jobless and, in addition, disrupted their socio-economic tradition. And however, rather than yielding in such pressure, tactics, they become more intensely hostile to the foreign rulers and rejected everything. When the British introduced their own language, English language, Muslims they were not aware, so they on that time they were jobless and in addition disrupted their socio-economic tradition. And Muslim rejected everything English, including English language and modern education. On the other hand, the situation was not changed for the Hindus. Why? Because before the 1857, the Muslims were ruling in the subcontinent. After the 1857, the British were ruling. So, on the other hand, the Hindus they were ready to took the English language, readily took to English and Western institution and Western education system they adopted and soon left the Muslim behind in the walks of life. After acquiring the new education, they acquired the preponderance importance. Preponderance mean importance in services or which were previously a Muslim preserves and industry. You know that after acquiring or getting the modern education or the new education, Hindus they ready to took English and after acquiring this knowledge, they got jobs and they took control in the business, trade, and industry. Thus, in course of the time, they superseded mean take the place, the Muslims socially well as economically. The failure of the War of Independence in 1857 completed the ruin of the Muslims. After the 1857, this was the end of the Muslim power. British took control in the subcontinent. The socially, this in course of the time they superseded the Muslims socially as well as economically. Reconciliation later, though the Muslim reconciled themselves towards English education through the effort we have discussed also in detail. By whom effort? By Sir Syed Ahmad Khan came forward for the Muslims, and Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, the British, pursued their policy of discrimination against them. When Pakistan came into being in 1947, Muslims neither owned any important industry, no, not were they engaged except in small numbers in trade and commerce. This was a legacy of a sustained policy which aimed at keeping a Muslim backward in all fields of life. Indeed, the Muslims' majority area were signally devoid of any big industries, while all trade and commerce were concentrated in the hands of Hindu. After the creation of Pakistan in 1947, the areas which were given to the Muslims, they were backward areas because the British time period, the British ruling period, all the industries were installed in the Hindus majority area. So the Muslims, they were unexperienced and except in small numbers in trade and commerce. This was a legacy of sustained policy. Remarkable progress. When on the creation of Pakistan, the exodus means a mass departure of people, movement of people, a large number of non-Muslims created a void in the service and profession, education, trade, commerce. The Muslims had an opportunity to enter these fields after the creation of uh, uh, Pakistan. The large number of Muslims they migrated, they responded to this challenge magnificently. Now, masters of their own destiny, they could avail all these opportunities or the facilities of education and technical training and were able to enter industry, trade, commerce, and all other professions because the non Muslims they moved and the requirements of newly established state accelerated the peace the pace of progress, and within a short span of a quarter century, the country made remarkable progress. The extraordinary pace of development, however, brought in its wake many new socio-economic trends. It should, however, be borne carried in mind that at the time of independence, Pakistan had hardly any breathing time, and the circumstances under which the new state came into being did not admit of any quick change. The socio-economic and political system which the British had raised in the past served their own colonial interest had of necessity to be retained initially, though some of these ill-suited the requirement of an independent nation deeply, wedded to its spiritual values and social traditional national objectives had therefore to be identified and priorities outlined before seeking new orientation. Retaining knowledge from British was made it essential. It was clear from the outset that in order to achieve progress, prosperity, develop, in modern time, it was compulsory or essential to retain some of the concepts and institutions introduced by the British, especially those Western science and technology institutions. But at the same time, it was also clear that the spiritual norms were of supreme value to the people of Pakistan, and therefore the mental outlooks and cultural pattern which may be created by the Western science and technology were essentially to find affinity and harmony with the tradition of the Pakistani people. Overview of Islam towards scientific knowledge. In fact, Islam is a complete code of life and it encourages free inquiry into the truth and affirms validity of scientific truth as a means of human progress. It enjoins upon the believers to conquer nature for promoting human welfare and impose to restriction on human endure. The use of science and technology is therefore written into the injection of Islam, the teaching of Islam, the principles of Islam, while it disapproves materials acquisition for the personal aggrandizement mean increase the power and exploitation. It looks upon material wealth as blessing and bounty of God if use of human welfare. success. In course of time, Pakistan evolved a pattern of life and conduct which follow the process of scientific modernization, technological advancement within the framework of Islamic teaching and spiritual norms of the people. The way in which Pakistan during its relatively short existence has achieved a synthesis in the conduct of statecraft, educational program, intellectual activity, economic structure, arts and crafts, social life, represents the fulfillment of the urge that lay behind its creation. Student, this is the new orientation which we discussed before the creation of Pakistan from the 18th century when the British took control, and when we discuss all the situation and the circumstances which were faced by the Muslims of India, and finally they achieved their target, and also the things in the which the Pakistan, its relatively short existence, has achieved a synthesis in the conduct of educational program, economic structure, art, craft, social life, represent the fulfillment of the urge that lay behind its creation. This can be asked overall in long question, new orientation. The question can be asked overall long question, and in short questions we will discuss at the end of the chapter. I will tell you about the short question from this topic. Hope you understand today's lecture and also revise the short question answers of chapter 4 which I told you today, and also start learning now this subject. Hope you are learning. Thank you students. Have a nice day.